The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in the cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to RAP Paranormal and Friends with your hosts,
Kim Purvis
and Allison Robinson. Make sure to check us out on our Facebook pages, RAP Paranormal and Friends and RAP Paranormal Busters, for up-to-date show information and events. Hey everyone, welcome to another night of RAP Paranormal and Friends. We are welcoming back Tyler Transu of Docside Media. Welcome back for the third time. Woo!
Allison, so good to be here. Yo, we'll keep cranking out docs if you'll keep watching them and loving them and having us on. So
yeah, absolutely, you know we would. I said
really
that.
Good to be here.
I know I joked last time that we're just gonna have to set some time, like about every 3 to 4 months, for you guys to be on just to share your docs.
Count us in. We're absolutely in.
All right, so you guys just had one that dropped on Wednesday? Is that when it premiered? On the 18th?
Close. Tuesday. On October 18th.
Okay, I'm off.
In plain sight, the intelligence community and UFOs became available on Amazon, Apple TV, iTunes, Google Play, PlayStation, Microsoft, and Vudu. Yeah. So, it's been awesome. And Allison, check this out. My mind is blown.
Yes.
We made various social media posts on Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Mm-hmm. Girl, yes. In the first 24 hours, we went across 155,000 news feeds.
Wow, that's 155,000.
Awesome. Like organically, just organically. So right. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is just beyond my wildest dreams because, man, like if you break it down, 155,000 people, I think up to now, like those posts are maybe up to like 160 or something. They obviously all kind of fell off after the first 24 hours.
Right.
But 155,000 people is like, it's like 0.002% of the world global population out of 7.8 billion people. That's like 1 out of 50,000 people know of Docside Media.
Yes.
And in plain sight, the intelligence community and UFOs. So at all the football stadiums this weekend, you look at one football, dude, there's a person there that knows of Docside Media. Boop, there's another. So it's just incredible that we've been able to reach this number of people and all the awesome podcasts that we've been on that talk about this type of content. So we can make sure that their fan base and audience are aware of it being out there. And so between all that, I'm thinking good thoughts that we're going to just have a really nice, big release where a lot of people see it. I'm hoping for a lot of feedback and enjoying this ride.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you haven't disappointed me yet in any of the documentaries that I have seen. So you guys are doing a really awesome job. So keep up the great work. I have to say that. I have to give you guys props because I know it's got to take a lot of work and time to put into those too.
It's fun though. It's something we love to do. So, flying out to Albuquerque, New Mexico, landing at 11 p.m., driving my car 3.5 hours through the night down to Roswell, right?
Yeah,
Just so I can wake up at sunrise, like sleep in my car for 2 hours, wake up at sunrise, get some drone footage of the sun rising over Roswell, shots of the Roswell signs along the highway, just different things that we could use for B-roll and add it in later, like, and then drive all the way back the 3.5 hours, interview Richard Doty,
yes,
former Air Force Office of Special Investigations counterintelligence officer. And like, yeah, interviewed him at 1, took like 2 hours, right back to the airport, caught the flight at 3 out of Albuquerque. And yeah, like, but we love it, man. We're like, you know what, while we're here meeting these awesome people, like we need to really try and make the best of it. I can sleep when I get home.
That's right.
Yeah, the work that goes into it, it's so worth it. And that's how I think Chris Rupert and myself, Tyler Transu of Docside Media, have been able to, now film, edit, and release 4 documentaries, in like a year. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. I mean, props to you guys for putting in the work to do this. But in your new documentary, In Plain Sight, Intelligence Community and UFOs, I mean, you guys had some really great people on there that you were talking to. I mean, you had ex-CIA, you had, your counterintelligence. You had Richard Doty, you had John Ramirez. I mean, you had some really awesome people that you talked to. You had guys, I can't remember his name, but they were from the MUFON, which we've had a guy on our show that is part of that. And so, I mean, they all had different aspects of this, and some of their stories were just amazing. Some of the stuff I had never even heard of. Like, I didn't hear that they actually, I don't know where I was, maybe I'm sure other people have, when those UFOs had, collided or whatever, they had bodies, and they had one that was supposedly alive.
Yeah, talking about Roswell.
Yes, absolutely. And I hadn't heard that part.
I thought that was really neat, and I understand there's so much to this phenomenon, and researching it, I'm sure it's easy to miss stuff. I know that was the first time I had heard about these 2 UFOs colliding during a severe lightning storm. Right. Talking about the 2 different places that they fell, the one being found, the other that everybody knows about that came out in the papers, and I forget if it was weeks later, the other one was recovered. But it blew my mind to hear that. And then hear Richard Doty just flat out say, look, the things I just said, as far as I know, this is the truth or this is what the government has on Roswell. This is what they have. And I'm just like, dude, that is insane. And check this out, Allison. So last night I was on another podcast, and that host happened to be friends with John Ramirez. I was on Deb's Data Dojo, and she had called John Ramirez prior to this interview, this podcast, and asked him what his thoughts on the doc were. And it was just so cool to hear what he thought, and saying he was just really sincere and said, look, man, Tyler, he was just very professional. They did a great job. This is very high quality. And he was like, I was really surprised some of the other stuff that people were talking about. He's like, this was stuff, there's only a certain number of people that were read into this. And he's like, and I'm hearing them say that. And I'm like, oh, dude, you're saying this is all a quote from like John Ramirez? I'm like, dude, that's just, it's just crazy. Right. So he was just really pleased with the stuff. And and we also had so we had former Air Force Office of Special Investigations counterintelligence officer Richard Doty, retired CIA officer John Ramirez, MUFON field investigator Jesse Peak, Roswell expert and author Tom Carey, who's written 12 novels on Roswell, interviewed over 600 first and secondhand witnesses. I mean, and we're talking about a guy who was doing this, started doing this, I think, in the 90s or something. And Allison, you can't just hop on a computer and find somebody's address or phone number. Those were different times. So my man put in incredible amount of passion and legwork to chase all these leads and talk to all these people. So it was great to have him in the doc and get his very experienced opinion or knowledge experience on Roswell. And then lastly, we had Eric Mintel of Eric Mintel Investigates. He's like paranormal investigator and experiencer, and just has been following this stuff, for most of his life. So we thought the way they all came together, it was just really incredible. Kudos to Chris Rupert, who does the final edit on this.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
It's just, man, I had we tried to script this, or other than the title, In Plain Sight, the Intelligence Community UFOs, we didn't, we're not looking to bring our thoughts and our opinions into this. We're looking to speak with these very unique and interesting and credentialed individuals who've had just some really amazing experiences, and let them share their stories. And then people can take, do what they want with that info. So yeah, it really came out really, really good. I'm very pleased with it.
Yes, it was very awesome. Now, were you the one that was in the costume the whole time? I saw you messing around with it. I saw some of your videos that you post.
Yeah, for this one, I hopped in the ET mask and like costume or whatever, and did the different stuff for some of the B-roll, and help talk about when Richard Doty's saying he saw, a live ET on a closed circuit camera. I'm like, Chris, hey, we can recreate this, right? We can show this as if somebody's looking at this on a monitor. And that was cool. And it was just really fortuitous that we're shooting at Chris's house, in his studio. And it was like near the end of the school year. His daughter, it was like early summer, and his daughter was getting off the bus at noon. I'm like, bro, we can't pass up an opportunity for me in this alien costume to like wave at the bus and kind of greet her off the bus. So we did it, filmed it. TikTok, I think it went over 100,000 views. Nice. So it was really, it was cool. We try and just always make the best of whatever moment we're in. And that goes for all the docs, and just not be afraid to try new things. We realize we don't know everything. And just the more we do this, we're just continually get better. So far, it's been an awesome ride. And I think this is, as far as sound design, production value, the names, the people that we were able to actually interview, I think this is our best one yet, hands down.
Yeah, you did a really phenomenal job. And some of the things that they were talking about, I'm surprised that some of them, with what fields they were in, are able to come out and discuss some of these things. Sometimes they like to keep, some of it is public knowledge, but some of it you're just like, I've never heard that. And it's like, and you're coming out and saying that, like, I just figured that they maybe had to sign something or something, saying that they couldn't talk about certain things. And maybe they did leave some things out that they're not able to discuss, but did they talk about that at all? Like, during your things, that there was things that they couldn't discuss?
Chris Rupert, he if he was here, he would chime in here and just say that what he found really interesting about Richard Doty was, it seems like this guy is kind of giving like a presentation and just recalling these items from memory. Right. And he would often get to points in the interview where he would have to stop and say, you know what, I actually can't go into that any further. I can't talk about that anymore. So that happened a number of times with him. And for as controversial or polarizing of a figure as Richard Doty is, my gut feeling, my experience from going out there and interviewing him, he seemed very down to earth, very normal, very human, very disarming, has these glasses. He's just not aggressive. He's a little nervous before the interview, like anybody who's about to have cameras and lights and stuff in their face. It was just, I had a great experience and no gut feelings, that he was just fabricating stuff. To what end, I don't really know what the benefit would be. Right. Yeah. But I had a great experience with him. And then John Ramirez, same deal. He's a retired CIA officer, has the Career Intelligence Medal for 30 years of service. So, it's like, this guy's a very intelligent, hardworking man, right? You don't work for the CIA for 30 years unless you're doing something right and dedicated and committed.
Right.
And so I love his story in that he was like a signals intelligence analyst, right? And he's like monitoring Soviet airspace in the 90s or whatever, I think. And he's picking up like UFOs, like these anomalous things on his radar screen, and can see in real time that the Soviets see it and that they don't recognize it, and they're mobilizing to try and figure out what's going on. So it was cool. I was just fascinated by hearing that aspect. Like, wow, that's really cool, man, that he had those experiences. And John, again, we had to leave a lot on the cutting room floor for him because there's so much, but for people who have seen some of his YouTube interviews or the PowerPoint presentation he gave, I think back in like November 2021, he had a lot of personal experiences, like as a child, that shaped him, and just having a belief in extraterrestrials. And so it was like, it's just, you can tell he is very, very sincere and genuine and with everything that he's saying, and that, he's personally affected by this, and he has just pure interest and motive to try and help with this disclosure process. I don't think he claims to know everything, but based on the information that he is privy to, he can speculate on various things. So yeah, it was great having him in the doc. Very great.
Absolutely.
Sincere guy.
Excuse me.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
They're picking the fields out here, so you know how that goes, allergies and everything.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So kind of moving on just a little bit. What else do you guys have in store? You had talked about maybe doing one on like near-death experiences. Do you have anything in the works?
Yeah, so we have been trying to film Ghosts in the Graveyard.
Yes, I was going to ask
Pure
you about
Pandemonium.
That yes.
Yeah. So we've been trying to film that this fall at a haunted cemetery in the ghost town of Pandemonium, Pennsylvania. A lot of just interesting haunted stories from there. A lot of, it's just a very, very old cemetery out in the middle of nowhere. So the first time we tried to go in September, had everybody lined up, good to go. Like 2 days before, Chris Rupert gets like deathly ill, just like really sick, vomiting, can't stop. We have to cancel last minute. Then we get it set up so today's October 20th. We just had it set up for this past Saturday, October 15th.
Yes.
We get the medium out there, dude. The paranormal investigator, the expert that's really going to help lead this investigation at the cemetery. We got the tent set up. We got fire started. Like, life's good. We're going to have fun. Yeah. We're like, cool. Let's just hang out for a couple hours. Wait till the sun kind of comes down a little bit, so the lighting will be better for the interview.
Right.
We can just do some general exploring now. And out in the middle of nowhere, like minutes before we're interviewing, like, we just got to hook up the lav mic to her. We got all the cameras set up. Everything looks great, all framed up. And she's like, you mind if I just like take a walk, get my head straight? We're like, yeah. Yep. Everything's going to be fine. Yep. This will be a real fun experience. She comes back. She somehow in the middle of nowhere gets a voicemail from her brother and sister-in-law that she's been induced. The sister-in-law's been induced, and they're having this baby like this evening.
Oh my
and that
gosh.
she has to go. And I'm just like,
oh no.
Oh my gosh, like what are the odds? Like, I have no service. Like, but so just being a realist, we're not just trying to film stuff for the sake of filming it.
Right.
It's like, oh well, we need her there for this. She has all the paranormal investigative equipment.
Yeah.
And all this, she's an experienced medium. So we had to like cancel it while we're all there. And then I had to drive 20 minutes quick to get cell service so I could call the other 4 or 5 people that were on their way. They had to work and couldn't show up right away. So I had to like get a hold of them and cancel that. So it almost seems cursed, but we're not going to give up. I feel like third time's a charm. And the end of the day, I'm sure it worked out for the best. Whatever we
Yeah.
get the next time we get out there will be better than what we would have thought or captured this time. So,
Right. Yeah. Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
So there's that one.
Yeah.
We're still going to film. We want to do a remote viewing
Yeah. We
documentary.
talked about that. Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah, we're still talking about, I'm just working on lining up those interviews now. So I'm hoping I can get those interviews here in like November. And then Chris can start cutting and then hopefully, maybe March of next year, it would be released. And so, I've got a lot of interesting, really like good contacts for that. So just help think good thoughts and manifest that these people, are down. It suits their schedule and that we can capture some really great footage and interviews and personal experiences from this remote viewing phenomenon. And then, still trying to do like the reincarnation and past life regression. We haven't got those interviews scheduled yet, but we're going to do that. And then Chris he feels compelled. He really wants to film a haunted Christmas documentary, a paranormal Christmas documentary.
That'd be cool.
So I'm glad he'll be so happy to hear that you said that'll be cool and that your eyes lit up when you heard that. So there's the city of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
There's a haunted hotel there. We're looking for like a haunted church or something, something to that effect. I'd like to get like that angle as well, but we already have the haunted hotel. So I feel like we're going to shoot that this Christmas season. And then unfortunately, we'll get it all edited, but I don't think there's any reason to really release it probably until closer to next Christmas, just because that's when everybody gets in the mood to watch Christmas themed movies. So, but so that's what we've got kind of, coming up here. And I think, we'll get all those and probably maybe one or two more out in 2023.
Oh, that's awesome, man. You guys are busy, but that's a good thing.
It is. And I think it's very easy for people, like for me, for example, you see these, you just see these movies, these documentaries, and they look great. And the more you learn about filmmaking, it's like, oh my gosh, that takes literally 100 people, 100 moving parts, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to make that. And takes, from the start to the end, 2-3 years. And I don't know. I've just always I don't know, been of the belief like, oh, dude, Chris, like we can do, like, I understand what it takes to make that. This is 5 or 6 interviews, B-roll. We need genuine people that are being sincere about their experiences. And so, it's like, oh, as curious as you are, and passionate as you are. Oh, I don't think you would have like, how many people do you interview as is? Like you're already interviewing
we've been
all these people.
What,
so
about 4 years now. So, every Thursday night, pretty much for 4 years.
Right.
Quite a few.
that adds up. So you think, oh man, well, if I had, whatever, if it was just a little better video quality or better audio quality, it's like, oh, I could trim those up. I could find similarities and commonalities between these different people's experiences. And, you could interweave it into a documentary. So the fact that we've been able to get 4 out, in a year, I don't feel at all like, oh, we're just trying to put out as much garbage as we can. It's like, oh no, dude, like if you saw it, it's not easy work, but it's fun. And when you break it down, it's like, oh, well, dude, it's 5 flights or drives to go get those 5 people's interviews for 2-hour interviews. It's like, oh man, really, that's not a ton of work.
Right.
I mean, it's not. It's like, it just isn't. And then same with Chris. It's like, oh yeah, to edit it into an 81-minute documentary and B-roll, it takes time, but you'd be surprised what people are capable of.
Right.
And so, it's achievable. And we hope, if anything, we inspire others to be like, oh, dude, let me see if like I could maybe try and do something like that. It's like, I bet you could. And the more you do it, just the better you'll get at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I can't remember if I asked you this before, but do either one of you have like a background in filming prior to doing these documentaries?
No. So, I mean, in so much, Chris, he's always been, he was always like into movies and stuff, horror movies and sci-fi growing up. I think in high school he started maybe filming with some cameras, and him and his buddies would make some different things.
Right.
Here later in life, yeah, he just got some camera equipment maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and started filming different things and working on editing them together. And so that's how he's gotten better. And then for me, I guess it was like 6 years ago at this point. My son was 2 at the time. He's laying down for a nap. I see a movie trailer come across the TV screen during a commercial. And for whatever reason, my brain that day, it's like, dude, that's just a bunch of 1 second, 2 second, 3 second video clips strung together to like tell a short, like a little story. I bet I could do that. Yeah. And like went outside with my son. I grabbed my son's like toy dinosaur, my cell phone, and just off the cuff filmed this fictitious trailer called The Dino Slayer, which I think still on YouTube. Put like edited it, like pieced the clips together on some free video app on my, on my Android, put some background music, like explosions or something on it, and then posted it to social media. And I'm just like, dude, this is crazy. This is a lot of fun. And it's not bad for having no experience. Right. And then it's just that, with that 10,000 hour rule, like, dude, if you do 10,000 hours of anything, you become a master at it. And I don't know. I don't think, man, maybe I have put 10,000 hours into it because, I had worked a sales job and I was doing, like a dad, like there's just, only so much time I could commit to filming. But I feel like every free second I had, I was filming whatever I could, whether it was silly sketch comedies that came to my head, whether I'm out in the woods hunting and I filmed some silly hunting with Tyler video. I didn't really care. And I didn't care what people thought. And I just kept doing it. And then, eventually got some cameras, and then I get a drone, and then my remote pilot's license. And, all of a sudden it's just, oh, dude, man, we can make Hollywood like great, like cinema grade documentaries from like right here in Pennsylvania, man. Just the two of us. We really don't. Yeah, we don't need some massive budget. We can do this all on just heart and being good people. And so I think also all the experiences I've had leading up to starting filmmaking, and then specifically documentaries, like in August of 2021, so like 14 months ago, was I was in sales forever. I like got a degree in marketing. I'm just sociable. I don't know. Like I like to have fun. I understand, hey, people are human, right? Everybody makes mistakes. And so and I'm like, just not afraid of somebody saying no. It's like, oh dude, it's no big deal. Like if I ask somebody, hey, would you, we're making this doc. We'd love to sit down for an interview. Any chance you'd be interested? And if somebody says no, it's like, oh dude, I don't take that personally. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's no big deal. So it's great that like, I just have the right personality and kind of skill set to go out and fly and meet these people. And then I think one of my better qualities is like, I just help get them in a good, positive frame of mind. Cause these are like personal experiences a lot of times that some people, it's easy to be embarrassed about. So I love just getting everybody just in this really good vibe and frame of mind where they feel comfortable sharing this stuff. And then it comes through like on the camera where it's just a powerful moment, and it helps connect with the audience and helps, somebody could be telling the most truthful story experience they've ever had. But with cameras and lights on you, like you can easily get like a little nervous, and it comes off as, oh dude, something doesn't seem right. And it's just because, we're human, and it's hard to have a camera in your face and share something that's personal, and what somebody might say embarrassing. So I love doing that. And then Chris, he's like a degreed graphic designer. And so he's great for, maintaining the website, for all the posters we've been able to make. Like I'll send him sometimes like a little third grade, like esque sketch, like for the In Plain Sight. If I showed you the little sketch I showed, or I gave him or sent to him that I made on my phone, you'd be like, what? How did he make that poster out? Like he got all the themes. He understood what you were trying to convey, but he like 10,000 X'd it. It is so good. So it's cool.
A really cool one.
The things couldn't have aligned any better and he's great too. Like, very fast twitch muscles and go. And so while I can do like editing trailers and stuff like that, man, once you start getting out like past 10 minutes, it's just, for me, it's kind of hard. I'm like, man, I wish I was working on something else.
Yes.
Chris, he has that fortitude and that drive and the ability to just sit down and maintain his coolness and enjoy it and meticulously go through all this footage and piece it all together and then send it to me and then me send back notes. I'll do, well, I feel like we need to include this part that I know that they said, and this part, maybe move it to here, and then we go back and forth a few times and massage it until it's like, oh, dude, this thing flows really well. Right. But it's cool. None of this stuff happens, without the other one. We wouldn't be able to do it. We both have, it's a yin and the yang. And he's like just very reserved and quiet, more quiet and not as outgoing. Right. And I'm the opposite. So yeah, he brings me down a little bit. I bring him up. I think it all balances out.
It does balance out. It does for sure. I was going to say, I'd be in your boat. I would not be able to sit here and edit anything. I'm always on the go. Like I don't sit still for very long. So this is the longest I sit still for is a podcast because I'm like always just, boom, 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 boom. Everybody's like, Allison, slow down. I'm like, I can't. There's not enough hours in the day to get everything done. So
I dig it.
I'm the one that gets to sit and go through all the footage.
Yeah. I listen to the recordings. But I can only do it for so long at a time. And then I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. But yeah.
I know. But it's neat. That's how, everybody's made and everybody's unique and and just, I'm kind of old school and just like, oh, dude, like it's okay if other people have a different opinion than me. Like that's
right.
What do I like? I can still be respectful. That doesn't make them a bad person.
Right.
99.99999% of the time, it's like, yo, if I grew up in their life and went through their experiences, I'd probably think the same things that they do and do the same things they do. And most people, save for a very small percentage of the population that are sociopaths, like most people are trying to do the best for themselves and they're the people they care about. Like they really are. And I know it doesn't always mesh up because, the world is polarizing, right? With social media, with news media, just everything.
Right.
It's very easy to, if somebody has a differing opinion, I see it, I feel like more often than I did 20 years ago, like, oh dude, like somebody has a different opinion. And it's like, oh dude, I hate you. Like people I can't talk, like somebody's like, I can't. Yeah. Like my mom and I haven't talked to them in years. Right. Like, oh, why? Oh, they supported such and such candidate. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Just because somebody,
different opinion.
Has a different political view. Now you will no longer ever talk to. You've been friends or family for decades and decades, right? Been through everything together.
Yep.
So yeah, hopefully what Chris and I are doing, we're trying to help destigmatize this topic and the other topics that we're doing, like Sasquatch and ghosts, to help, get more answers. The more that people are talking about it, the more people that are collecting data and looking at data. I mean, I think it's come, a very long way that we're getting, congressional reporting now, right? We've got some oversight. We're getting new forms made up for Navy pilots and FAA pilots or whatever to report these sightings. It's like, dude, how can you not think that's a step in the right direction when this stuff's been, stigmatized for so long that, it's just interesting listening to a Jesse Peak who is in the documentary and being a MUFON field investigator, and he's boots on the ground. He's getting these reports from experiencers, people who think they've been abducted or had implants. And, it's he's like, a lot of it can be explained. He's like, he uses a very discerning eye. He was ex-Army National Guard. He's a researcher. You just you can't believe everything. And because a lot of times there are explanations, Starlink satellites, whatever, different, just other different phenomena, but like natural phenomena. But it's cool. He's like, man, like 6%, about 6% of all these cases that we're pulling in, we cannot explain. We do not know what they are. And I just think, man, and like the number of reports, I gotta imagine, are like really, really small and compared to what they should be. I was out like on a camp out for Secrets of the Sasquatch, and the one time saw Starlink, the Starlink train go over, which was so crazy. Had I not seen it on YouTube before, I'm thinking that we have an alien invasion going on, because it just boggles your mind. Your mind cannot make sense of anything being that big crossing the sky, anything man-made. But then another time I was camping by myself, setting up this tent, freezing cold. I think I shared it on previous episodes, so I'll keep it short. But
that's fine.
Just had this sighting, and it's like, dude, I didn't report that to MUFON. I didn't. I'm sure for every one reported, who knows what the metric is? 100, 1,000, 10,000. It's just for people to take action. I don't know. It takes something significant. So even an outgoing guy like me, who's documenting this, making documentaries on it, like I did not report it. So the odds of tons of people having these experiences and sightings and not reporting them, I would say is really, really good.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I think a lot of people, maybe they'll come off and they might think that people will think that they're stupid or making it up or something, or not believe them. And so I think that's why maybe some don't come, if they have an encounter or whatever, they don't want to be judged by it, because a lot of people do get judged by that stuff, especially on social media anymore. So it just makes it harder for people to come out. But I think the more that other people talk about it, then maybe the more they'll feel comfortable about coming out with their own experiences.
For sure. And it was a really cool experience. We were on Savita the Starseed, her podcast, if any of your fans are familiar with her, but we were on her podcast yesterday talking about it, and just a really cool event unfolded, as a byproduct of us sending her an advanced screener to watch and then discuss it on her podcast. She's like, yo, I filed the MUFON report for the sighting I had. I think it was over the summer or whatever. But she was like, seeing your documentary gave me that nudge to file that report. So it's like, yo, that is so sick. I hope this does that for a lot of other people, right? I really do. That would be so, so sick. Yeah. And it was cool. She had a crazy synchronicity that she had seen like 5 orbs, very similar to Eric Mintel's experience, and his sighting that he talks about in the doc. And it was really fascinating, because despite living in this technological age where we can connect to everybody and just have access to tons of data and videos and personal testimonies, like she had never heard somebody else seeing 5 orbs in the way you described it. And she was like, oh my gosh, that was so awesome. And then I think she called, she's friends with retired CIA officer John Ramirez. And I think somehow she had got in touch with him and mentioned it then. And he was just talking about, the significance behind 5 orbs and all this stuff. So it's like, yo, she's into this stuff, had these experiences. And she was like, it was just cool that between our doc and then, it just did a lot of things to help her journey through life and help her understand or feel better about the things that she's experienced. Because now she's heard other people have experienced very, very similar things. So that's been really neat.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I think it'll help more people. The more it's talked about, more people will be willing to share their stories, and which will be a good thing. That's something I would like to do. I've always told Kim that I do want to go out and look for Sasquatch. I haven't done that yet. And I've always been into aliens and everything and UFOs. And that's another thing I'd like to go out and try to experience. Haven't yet. One of these days I will get to that.
I'm always looking up in the sky.
Yeah.
See what's floating around up there.
Yeah. It's just hard anymore because you got so many damn satellites. You don't know.
Yeah.
You do. And on a
Yeah.
clear night, I mean, yeah, you can track one with your naked eye, right?
Yeah,
Reflecting
yep.
the sunlight from over the horizon, crossing the sky, just to, no crazy movements or angles or turns, just, and you're like, dude, that is crazy. I just remember looking up the sky as a kid, never, ever, ever seeing that.
Yeah,
ever,
no, yeah.
right?
No.
And now you can just track satellites with your bare eyes across the sky.
Yeah, it's insane.
And but it's I don't know if the phenomenon kind of seems like funny, not funny, but interesting in that it almost feels like it calls people, right? Like it comes to people. Like Chris and I, Chris being into sci-fi and horror growing up, me being always curious just about everything and open-minded, but I just wasn't one to, I didn't commit a ton of brain power or research into aliens and UFOs, didn't watch a ton of alien UFO movies. Like that wasn't my thing. But for whatever reason, when we, last summer or spring of 2021, I guess, when it was starting to come out about, there's going to be this UAP task force report coming out in June or July in 2021 and whatever, my interest got sparked then and just kind of dove into it. And I don't know, it's nuts. It's like almost like the phenomenon like found Chris and I to maybe help tell its story or help get it further in like the the human consciousness, like the public sphere. Because it's weird. We would have never thought we'd be doing this, but I don't know. Somehow we are, and we just keep meeting more and more interesting, genuine, down to earth, normal people. Like normal people. Like if they didn't tell you this experience they had, if they didn't talk about that at all, it'd be your grandma, it'd be your dad, it'd be your uncle, it'd be your brother, it'd be your sister, it'd be your mom. Like these are just completely just regular Joe Schmoes. So it's been a cool process for Chris and I to like grow as humans. Like we get a lot out of this by just hearing these different people's experiences and then being able to share them. So I think the phenomenon definitely is somehow, got us in its sights and might be helping propel and propagate what we're doing forward. And it's cool. Somehow it got you. You said you've always been fascinated with it. You've never gone out like with the intention to,
No.
You said like maybe really see one or try and, but it's like, oh dude, well, if you've been doing this for 4 years, you're having a massive impact on encouraging others to go look and stuff like, so it's not like you're not out there looking like, oh dude, I don't know. I think you're becoming much more informed and well-rounded by doing what you're doing for sure.
Thanks. Yeah. I think we are too. Yeah. This has been a big thing for me just because I'm a very shy person. So even doing this is just,
I'm breaking her out of her shell.
She's breaking me out of my shell. So but hopefully like
about time. Good job, Kim.
So hopefully one day I do want to experience other things other than just going out doing our paranormal investigations. Like I actually want to go out and look for Sasquatch and look for UFOs, things like that. That's on my bucket list one of these days because we've been doing the other paranormal stuff for 9, almost 10 years now.
Yep.
Yeah. So
if you can dream it, you can do it. If you start moving your feet, in that direction of looking for a Sasquatch, or like a UFO with that intent, dude, I have the utmost faith in you that you can do it. You're more than capable of it.
Oh yeah, we'll get her done. I gotta find some people that want to go because I don't want to, like I said, go through some timber or forest or something that I'm not, don't know what I'm doing. So once I get some people that actually know what they're doing to go with us, then I will feel more like I could go out and do it. But it's just finding people in Iowa.
I hear you, but still, it's a lot easier to do it today than if you
Yes.
wanted to go do that 30 years ago.
That's
I mean,
true.
what are you doing? You're dialing on rotary phones, like calling people in address books and what,
Yeah.
like out of phone
Yeah.
books.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's
Yeah.
nuts. And so now it's like, oh, you know what? Yeah, if that's something I really want to do, I can look for probably some Iowa Bigfoot groups, Sasquatch groups. I can look. There's ways to more easily find people interested
Right.
in this subject matter and then connect with them. I know from making Secrets of the Sasquatch, you know, we had found different Pennsylvania like Sasquatch groups and Bigfoot research groups and stuff like that. And there's a surprisingly high number of people that are out there, whether it's investigating, just interested in it, sharing a story that they had from a long time ago. It's talking about the different conferences and talks coming up. So yeah, I feel like I bet Iowa's got a little something like that going on too, if you looked hard enough.
I'm sure we still do have some. There was one group here, but they moved. Like one of them moved to like New York. So
his brother's still in here.
Oh, his brother's still here?
Yeah, his brother's still here.
Oh, okay.
Well, if push comes to shove, Chris and I will come out and investigate with you. Then you don't have to feel alone.
There we go. Then we don't have to feel alone.
No, we can come. We love it. It's fun.
Yeah,
but
you guys haven't been to Iowa yet.
We haven't. I think we need to hit up Iowa.
You do. There's a lot of haunted places in Iowa.
And they say there's a Bigfoot in Iowa too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
I think in the Des Moines area.
Yeah, over by Saylorville.
Yeah. That's a big popular area for
wooded area.
Yeah.
Well, we might just manifest that. Let's keep speaking that into the universe. I got to talk to Chris. I got to run it by him, but
got to run it by him.
Yeah, we did. Let's see. Yeah, aliens and UFOs, then ghosts, then Sasquatch. Now aliens and UFOs again.
Yep.
So yeah, we're trying to film the ghost one, the remote viewing. So yeah, we're coming back to doing Sasquatch again anyway. So
there you go.
It sounds like it's meant to be.
That's right. All right. Before we start wrapping things up, I want everybody to go check out Tyler and Chris's new documentary, In Plain Sight, Intelligence Community and UFOs. If you haven't watched the other ones, please go watch them. They're all awesome. Love them. I stand by them 100%. And you can find them on Google Play, iTunes, Vudu, and there's 2 more, right?
Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, Microsoft PlayStation, Vudu. I think you hit them all.
Okay, perfect. I always forget a couple, so I just always write them down so that way I can add them onto our social media too. So that way people can.
Absolutely. Well, no, yeah, we love what you're doing, and we're just so thankful and grateful that you've been watching our docs and having us on to talk about them. And for anybody listening out there watching, man, the feedback we have gotten from all the different podcast hosts that we've sent these advanced screeners to has been nothing short of just really humbling. Like these are people that consume a lot of this type of content. And the fact that a lot of them are saying that they watched it 2 times, multiple times, was amazing. Some watched it like back to back, like they watched it, went to the bathroom, came back, watched it again. And then we do the podcast and there was still information that came up during the conversation that like, oh my gosh, I missed that.
Yeah.
So
you do
I hope
sometimes
people can be encouraged. There's like a lot of good new information, good food for thought. It's not just just like a run of the mill documentary. This is current stuff. Everything has just been filmed. We have some stock B-roll, but a lot of it we go and shoot ourselves just because this is what we love doing. So we think, everybody, there's something in there for everybody, whether you're really, really into this type of content or you're just getting into it. It's a very interesting, informative, entertaining, and thought-provoking movie that you can really, I don't know, like I think it kind of fires you up. It's a good film. Yeah, it's just the perfect length. 81 minutes, you know what I mean? Like I think it leaves you wanting more. You don't find yourself bored with it.
Right.
So I think it's a great way, I feel, to consume this type of content, because when you interweave people's stories and their similarities and everything builds on top of each other, yeah, it's a good way to like understand and take in the information and remember it. And yeah, that's always good having that stuff bouncing around in your noggin. It makes us all more well-rounded individuals. And hopefully that's what we're all trying to do.
Yes, I think so, 100%. Like I said, make sure go follow Tyler and Chris on Docside Media. You guys have Twitter? Do you have Facebook? I don't have Facebook, so I don't know.
Yeah, you can follow Docside Media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And we're at Docside Media. That's DOCSIDE Media. And if you're into this type of stuff, you know, a lot of these different campouts that we're doing, whether it's at haunted cemeteries or at the Battle of Gettysburg, like on those grounds, you know, we put out like public calls to the community saying, hey, we've got this camp out, scheduled for this date and time. If that's something that you'd be interested in being a part of, we'd love to have you come along for the adventure. Mm-hmm. And so we usually get, you know, a couple of experts that are into like paranormal investigating, have equipment, mm-hmm. but you know, a lot of it's just, we're just looking for interested, adventurous individuals so they can have genuine experiences. Right. And then we can use that to, and plus it's good to have just different people from all walks of life and background and stuff, because it you know, having somebody that's really into history and then having somebody that's more into the woo side of things. Right. Like, it's just good to have a mix of people, because that's what allows the audience to relate. You know, you can relate, always hopefully relate to one of the individuals in the docs. So,
yes, absolutely. All right. Well,
so we'll keep cranking them out if you'll keep having us.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You know where to find us. So, the next one, when it's about ready to come out or whatever, or you got something in the works, let us know. Because like I said, it's always a pleasure to have you on. You bring a lot of energy to it, and that's excuse me, just got a tickle in my throat. That's always a good thing. Like, we like to have upbeat, positive on the show. Keeps us going when we have that. Sometimes it can get a little, you know.
I'll figure that's one thing you won't get with me. I'm like,
we won't get that with you. We know that.
The Energizer Bunny. Yeah, you should. Just you would love being on one of these camp, like, because we're fun. It's like, dude, we're here to have fun. Like, how many times or how many people can say they're like camping out on like the Gettysburg battlefield, like the Gettysburg battlefield? That's insane. So why not enjoy this? Like, really thoroughly enjoy this fun experience and just be grateful that we can even do this, because not only a lot of people have that opportunity. So I'm glad I can help bring some positivity and joy to your guys podcast. I love what you're doing. Yeah, I'll definitely keep coming on this bad boy. Count on it.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you everybody for joining. Next week we have, I'm probably going to butcher her name, Jenny Jablonski. She's kind of like a animal whisperer, so stay tuned for that. She has a book out also, so check that one out. And thank you again, Tyler, for being on. It's always a pleasure to have you. Make sure you guys check out their new documentary that's out now in plain sight: Intelligence, Community, and UFOs. Available on Microsoft, PlayStation, Vudu, Apple TV, iTunes, Amazon Prime, and Google Play. Did I get them all?
Dude, you hit it all in a row. I had to memorize it in that other order, so it was tough for me to check them off, as you said. I've been saying it so long in the the other way.
Yeah.
I'm like tick, 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 tick. Yeah, she got them all.
Right.
Well done.
Woo! Sweet. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and thank you once again, Tyler. It's always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. Yep, it was a blast. I love it. And Kim back there off screen, thank you very much as well for all you do. Oh, I saw her arm.
You saw her arm. She's our little spirit. She's here in spirit.
I love it.